sharing stories that just create other conversations. Arrow.net, ARROE.net. All right, let's do it. Let's play it forward. These are real people, real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 497 is with Jason Reid, creator of the book, The Rise of the Black Quarterback. My God, what a book. Why did it take so long to get this book out here?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. It's a story that's more than 100 years in the making. I mean, the NFL is more than 100 years old now. And I spent the last 2 years reporting and writing this. I thought I knew a lot about the subject matter going into it, but I learned so much. It was an education for me, and I hope it will be an education for anyone who picks up the book. You
know what's really interesting, Jason, is that you talk about reporting. I never once, while in these pages, did I feel like that it was a reporter. I felt like that you were in my living room having a conversation with a game that I have watched my entire life.
Well, that's definitely high praise, and I can't thank you enough for that. That's the intention. You know, this is my first book, but I've read a lot of books in my lifetime, and I think the best books are the ones where people become so engrossed in them because they feel that this is a story that they understand and they're enjoying, and it's really a conversation in the mind of the person reading it, and the words that the writer has put on the page. It's definitely a passion, a project I had a great deal of passion about. And I know for me, and just as an avid reader of books, the books that I enjoy the most are the ones that I can tell that the writer or the author of the book definitely cared about sharing a story. The book we're talking about is Rise of the Black Quarterback, What It Means for America. You know there's going to be a follow-up book. It's going to be Rise of the Black Coach. We've gone through the quarterbacks. We got to get to the coach, too. Well, I tell you what, that would be great. So if you want Rise of the Black Coach, go out and buy Rise of the Black Quarterback wherever books are sold. You bet. But I mean, what's really great about this book, and fans of football today as well as yesterday need to understand that you really go into these stories and you remind us of those that created these moments today. I mean, Randall Cunningham, holy cow. When was the last time that we had his name in our vocabulary? Yeah, and Randall Cunningham is a pioneer. Never before had the NFL seen the likes of this guy. I mean, he had an incredible arm, but he also was this incredibly gifted athlete. He also was a punter too, and he could do all these things. He was nicknamed the ultimate weapon, and it's one of my favorite chapters in the book. The opening to the chapter is Carl Banks, the great outside linebacker from those New York Giants, Bill Parcells teams, those Super Bowl winners. On a Monday Night Football game, Giants against Eagles, NFC East clash, Carl Banks hit Randall Cunningham so hard that he should have gone down. It should have been a sack. But the incredibly gifted athlete that Randall Cunningham was at the time, he puts his hand down on the field, steadies himself, and gets up and throws a touchdown pass. It was unlike anything the NFL had ever seen before. Isn't that the reason why we watch those games every Sunday and Monday and Thursday night? Because we're always looking for that stunning moment? Yeah, every day of the week now it seems like that the NFL is on, because the NFL dominates our national consciousness. It's not just the most popular sport in the country. It really is so much in the fabric of the country. Yeah, baseball was a national pastime. The NBA is popular. A lot of people like the NHL. But the NFL is unique. The NFL is so much more than everything else, and it's why it dominates our thoughts, and it's why we do tune in on Mondays and Sundays and Thursdays to see the next great play. One of the things that happens on that football field is that someone has to be the leader, and it all falls on the shoulders of the quarterback. Are black quarterbacks criticized more because fans want more? Well, it's interesting. I would say up front that black quarterbacks have never been in a better position in the NFL. Yeah. They're superstars. There are many of them who are superstars. They're among the highest paid players and the most influential. But, as we saw last week with the opening of training camp, when there were some anonymous quotes by defensive coordinators criticizing the performances of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who both have won league MVP awards, and Patrick Mahomes also has a Super Bowl trophy and a Super Bowl MVP award. It prompted Patrick Mahomes to address the media, when he addressed the media, to talk about the situation, and said that, there are sometimes some things said that you wonder exactly why they're being said about maybe us as opposed to some other quarterback.
Speaking of using that voice, Colin Kaepernick. Oh, my God. I love this man because he created a movement. He stood up and made people think as well as react.
Yeah, it cost him his career because there's no credible argument from a football standpoint why Colin Kaepernick has been out of the league, the past 5 years now. Mm-hmm. It's just simply the fact that he angered team owners because he threatened their incredibly successful business model. There's just no other way to put it. He was more than good enough to be on an NFL roster. Now, we can debate how many teams he could have started for. He wasn't the best quarterback in the league, but he was more than good enough to still play, and what he did cost him his career.
And he keeps trying to get back in. Why won't they bring him back in? My God. I mean, the guy can throw.
Yeah, I wrote about this back in 2016 or 2017 when I wrote a piece saying that we've seen the last of Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, and this was before he sued the league and settled a collusion grievance against the league, in a decision that was sealed. The NFL owners don't want Colin Kaepernick on a team. I think there's still, let me say, the reason is, I believe, is that there's still residual anger from the fact that he brought all this attention on. But I also think there's another element now. Colin Kaepernick is a global icon. He's not just a global sports icon. He's a global icon. And when you look at the attention he receives, I do believe that the next time there's a police-involved shooting with a young African-American male, and unfortunately the odds say that there will be another one, or some controversial situation that occurs, with a situation involving social justice, every reporter would descend upon whatever team Colin Kaepernick was playing for at the time and would be in the locker room and asking him questions. And I do think that teams also don't want to deal with the fact that Colin Kaepernick is bigger than the game now, and what that would mean about media coverage and the other players having to deal with that.
Did you think Michael Vick was the Michael Jordan of the NFL? I realize things went kind of wrong, but my God, Michael Vick.
Incredibly gifted player, incredibly gifted athlete, incredibly talented quarterback. I hesitate to make the Michael Jordan comparison because Michael Jordan had a run of not just an incredible individual success, but team success and statistics that across the board for his entire career. Now, having said that, Michael Vick, 2001, became the first African-American quarterback drafted #1 overall in the NFL draft, and did things on the football field that, even with Randall Cunningham, as great as he was, we hadn't seen before. But great talent, but because of the way things ended, obviously, everybody knows what happened with his situation. We didn't get to see him really at his peak, I think, for the whole time. Had a great comeback with the Philadelphia Eagles after leaving the Atlanta Falcons and going to jail, but what could have been in those years he was out of the game.
Being from Carolina, of course, I love me some Cam Newton, and that man has put himself on the map as well. Is he a history maker? I mean, will he be forever remembered?
Yeah, I mean, I think he will. I mean, he, at the time, I think I know this off the top of my head, I believe he became only the second African-American quarterback to win the league MVP award after Steve McNair, who shared the award with Peyton Manning years ago. Got the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. He was the MVP of the league that year, only the second black quarterback to do that. So, yeah, I do believe Cam Newton will be remembered. Most endings end badly. If it didn't end badly, it wouldn't be an ending in a lot of cases. And so, you look at the last few years of his career, how will he be remembered? Could he have been remembered differently if he had won that Super Bowl? Because really, it's all about winning. We know that's the ultimate measurement in the NFL.
I got to tell you, Jason, my friend John, who's big into the religious world and stuff like that, he's a preacher. He said that this book will serve as a great tool inside his congregation. And I mean, you are reaching beyond the football fan by releasing this book.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot, because the book is not just about, when I was reporting it and writing it, my hope was is that people would take away more than football. It's not just about football.
Yep.
It's about this country. It's about how black men are viewed. It's about changes that have occurred. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You got to come back in the future, dude, because, I mean, you experience a lot of things that everyday people do not, but yet when you speak it and you write about it, yes, we are part of that. And that's what I love about your writing.
Well, again, I'm honored that you feel that way, and I'd love to come back, and thank you so much.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay, sir?
All right, you have a good one.